Let's get into the Islanders road trip, Mitch. It's already kind of started technically, right? Because they played on the road against the Rangers, they played on the road against the Devils, but that's about as local as you can get for an away game. That is changing though, because you have a stretch run of the next 5 games against the Vegas Golden Knights, Utah Mammoth, Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, and Detroit Red Wings. Now, I made a reference to this earlier with teams like Vegas and Utah, and is Dallas in a playoff spot?
Yes.
They are, but they've started to turn it. They won 3 in a row. They had a slow start to the year, but they've begun to turn it around a bit at this point. This is going to be a huge test for this team to see really where they are in this process.
Yeah. So we began thinking about this road trip before they took on the Rangers, and we said if they end this road trip 2-5, that'll be okay. Obviously, you'd want better, but based off how the team was playing at that time, we figured 2-5 seems like something they could do. Now they've already won the first 2 games. I imagine they end that road trip going 500, at least.
Which that would be a major win if they go on a 7-game road trip and come away with at least 7 points. They have 4. That would mean only needing 3 more. So a win in one of these next 5s and an overtime or shootout loss in one of these next 5.
And they're catching some of these teams at a good time. Obviously not Colorado or or Dallas, who have won 4 and 3 respectively. And like Colorado has only lost 1 game all friggin' year, which is just stupid. But Vegas lost 1. They're 4-4-2 over the last 10. They don't have Mark Stone. They're just kind of playing disjointed hockey right now. They're not bad. They're still winning at a 600 clip. Like that's still pretty freaking good over the season. But they're having a little rough patch right now. So maybe you're catching them at the right time. And then Utah have lost 3 in a row. They are currently, it was 1-0. It's still 1-0 against the Sabres in favor of Buffalo, although they're out shooting them 12-6, which is insane. They might go on a 4-game losing skid before they take on the Islanders. So again, you might be catching the Mammoth at the right time. Not saying we get definite wins over both teams, but perhaps we're catching them at an opportune time where we can pick up some much needed points.
Yeah, that'd be great if they're able to do that. And I think that's my goal now is 3 points, and that feels obtainable, right?
Yeah.
That's over your next 5 games, 1-3-1. That's not asking a lot. That's just basically saying, keep yourself afloat. Don't bottom out.
Yeah, right. And you just look at that record, you think 1-3-1, you're like, that's bad. It is. Just a 1-3-1 record is not a good team. However, in the greater context of what they're doing, whether it like that it's a road trip and then it's an extended 7-game road trip, and you tack on another 2 wins, well, you're actually 3-3-1, and that's not so bad considering the context and considering who this team is in the New York Islanders.
Right. And they got themselves some breathing room with how they played their previous 6 games where they're 4-1-1 over their last 6. So that kind of gives you a little bit of runway where if it does dip down, that's okay. And look, if they get through 4 games, so after the Dallas game will be the 20-game point of the season. You're starting to get to a sample size that we could look at where it's like, okay, this isn't just like a month of the season. We're almost at American Thanksgiving at that point.
Yeah, it is. So a lot of things to be looking forward to at the end of this road trip. So Ilya Sorokin has played 3 games. He's obviously not going to play every game of this. He's played 3 games since he started turning things around. We wanted to give him a 10-game sample to kind of really lock in and say, like, now we know what we're seeing from him. He's not going to get the full 10 games, obviously, with the remaining 4 here, but he's going to get pretty gosh darn close. So we're going to get a good idea in terms of how sustainable this level of play is from Ilya Sorokin, ideally through the rest of the season, but at least for the next couple of months. And we'll get to know about Bo Horvat's scoring streak. Like, is it just going to keep up? Is he going to fall off now and it cannot get back up again, or what?
Yeah, where are we at with it? I think that's a good point. And they haven't played since Monday, so they'll play tomorrow on Thursday. They have a back-to-back, so it's at Vegas and then at Utah on Thursday, Friday. I would imagine Sorokin gets one and Rittich gets the other.
Yep.
I would assume that Sorokin's going to get Vegas just to, keep riding the hot hand, but maybe they switch it.
Maybe. Yeah, they might. I feel like Rittich could get in a vibe if he faces a team that just gets a lot of pucks on net. And it's not to say that Vegas doesn't do that. It just feels like the Mammoth are doing the Colorado or the Carolina Hurricanes, where they're shooting from everywhere. Again, 12 shots on net so far in this first period against the Buffalo Sabres, and that doesn't seem like outside of the norm for them. If I go NHL.com and pull up the stats, I'm sure I could get something a little bit more precise here. Shots on goal per game played. The Utah Mammoth are 7th in the league at 29.3, Vegas at 29.7. So it's a kind of a toss-up. If we go by game, just to kind of go over like the last 5 games even, if we go over the month of November, shots on goal per game played, Vegas second in the league, 34.3. So yeah, maybe they flip it with Rittich against Vegas and then Soroki against Utah. Where is Utah? 14th at 28.8. Maybe. And that's just me like over complicating things here.
Yeah. And however they decide to do it is honestly fine with me. I was just trying to toss a guess out there. My guess was Vegas, but is what it is. I'd imagine over the next 5, he gets, I'm going to say minimum 3, probably 4.
Yeah.
Unless he struggles and Rittich is good, maybe they change that up. But if it's, we see another game where it's like, hey, even if it's against Vegas and a loss, but he's a 920 goalie, then yeah, I think you continue to ride him out.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Like that is, as things stand right now, probably 3 or 4 starts. Not ideally, but likely 4. And then form will depend if it goes down to 3. But that's the thing. This road trip will tell us not only, as you were saying, that a reveal kind of where this team is and what this team is going to be through the year, although it doesn't seem to be deviate too far from what we all think that they're going to be. But we're also going to find out how things are going to go for individuals. Again, Bo Horvat scoring 12 goals so far this year, which is just stupidly ridiculous. And although not completely out of the norm for his career, that is. And then Ilya Sorokin, can he keep doing this thing? And Matthew Schaefer as well. Like, how does he deal going on the road for an extended road trip for the first time in his career?
Yeah.
And the NHL, of course.
Right, because really their only other road stretch that they've had so far, they've had, road games, but they haven't really had an extended like road trip. They did go to Ottawa, but we're talking like Philly, Boston, Carolina, Washington. That's pretty close travel wise. Yeah. Same thing with the Rangers and the Devils. This is like, hey, we're going across the country here thing. And their last 4-game road trip, they went 1-2-1. So 3 points in 4 games. They have 4 in their first 2 games of this 7-game road trip. Let's see if they can get 3 more. I think they can. Yeah.
It's also, how does this road trip bring the group together, right? Like, how does it bring maybe some guys who might be struggling into the fight, if you want to call it that? How does this affect Maxim Tsiplikov, who has struggled this year? Yeah. Maybe brings Shabby back into it. Maybe Cizikas comes back kind of thing into his own. That would help a lot. I know we're talking about like 4th-line players, but the 4th line still matters a lot.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Shabanov because he was back on the ice in a red jersey, though. So he's not ready to come back and play just yet. But we haven't seen that yet. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and so I imagine he'll be traveling with the team at least, and practicing with them, and then hopefully by I don't know what they end with Dallas and then Detroit, right?
I believe so. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so maybe we see him by the Dallas game if he's ready to go, obviously, but it's gearing up towards he could be back soon.
Good. That's good news for me.
It is, but like, where do you put him? That's going to be the thing.
Siplikov can come out. That would be my assumption. Cizikas could come out. Cal Ritchie could come out.
Yeah, it might have to be Cal. And then you have a 4th line of Russians and Cizikas.
I don't know if Shabanov with Cizikas is where I necessarily want to put him, but they might have to do some shuffling. We'll worry about that when we get there.